I probably spend about half an hour a day on Facebook.
Every day, a few times a day.
Not more than an hour total a day.
I spend 2 hours on Facebook a day.
Probably about 3 hours a day.
About 3.5 hours a day.
3-4 hours during the day.
I don't think I have it that bad. I know people who go on it every hour.
At Facebook, we're pushing to make the world a more open place.
Facebook users are kept hooked, partly as a result of a decision Zuckerberg made 4 years ago to open the site up to other software developers. They can now write programs that work on Facebook, apps in other words. It puts Facebook at the center of a new technology ecosystem.
Now there are more than 1 million different developers who build things on top of Facebook and are trying to bring these great experiences to people. And we think to ourselves, we're just a small company. I mean, I'm sure there are all these people who are using our products, and we have 500-600 engineers building all this stuff. I mean, companies like Microsoft or Google have tens of thousands of engineers, right? I mean, we're tiny compared to that. So how can we ever possibly build all the stuff that we want to seek it out there? And the answer is build an ecosystem and make it so that all these developers, whether it's a student in a dorm room who hasn't had a job yet, or a big company, or a company that we've never heard of in some other country, can just build the stuff. And that's the part that's so cool about it.
When Zuckerberg opened Facebook to developers, nobody guessed that the runaway success would be Facebook-based games. London is home to the world's second biggest social gaming company. Christian Segestrale, the co-founder of Playfish, employs 350 people to make games for his 100 million regular players.
Facebook has created the level of infrastructure, which means you can go visit your real friends' houses, you can interact with your real friends' characters, you can give them gifts and so on, and you can actually work on things together, which simply brings an entirely new dimension to computer games, and in some ways almost takes games back to where they came from. So it's as much about that social interaction as it is about what's going on the screen.
In the company's San Francisco office, 2 of its customers have come in to show how they play a couple of the most popular games. Michelle Maruyama is a violinist and has been playing Restaurant City for 2 years.
I sometimes really enjoy playing, like right after I come home from work, say if there's a conductor I don't like or something like that. But if I'm just home all day practicing, you can just stop once an hour and check on your restaurant.
The games are designed to keep you hooked, with timed penalties if you don't keep checking in.
It's definitely a chore, and it definitely cuts into your spare time. Like, I know that I used to read The New Yorker pretty much cover to cover every single week, and I know that I absolutely do not do that anymore.